morning. Welcome to Moving Well. Moving Well is a neuromovement class that is designed to access your brain to reorganize your movements so that we can be more comfortable in our bodies and, no matter what our age, move more like we did as youngsters. Maybe not way back to children, but maybe even that is possible. So I remind you to just move slowly, because when we move slowly, our brain gets the information and can make changes in our muscles. Pay attention to what you're sensing and feeling, and notice any differences. And be a little bit of a kid. Allow yourself to get a little excited when you notice something changing or when you notice something different. And let yourself get curious. Our brain loves it when we're curious, because then our brain really gets busy looking and paying attention and looking for something new. So now, pay attention to what you're feeling and your contact with the floor. You may even notice changes already in just the little bit of time that you've spent on the floor. So now go ahead and bend your knees, stand your feet. Interlace your fingers and put them behind your head. And be sure that they're behind your head and not behind your neck. So they're interlaced, you're behind your head. Now bring your elbows in. And just a few times, slowly lift your head and lower it. And each time you lower your head, bring it all the way back down to neutral. If you need to move some of the towels from out under your head, that might be a good idea, so that you have a little bit of a range. Cramp? Yeah. Okay, now just for contrast, let your elbows be out to the side and feel what it's like when you lift your head. Feel what that's like, and then bring your elbows in again. And as you lift your head, what do you feel moving? Is it just your neck? Anytime it's difficult to move, that means there's some place in you that is resisting, that's moving against the movement. And that's what creates obstacles and stiffness. Now notice, are you inhaling or exhaling as you're lifting your head? And try it both ways and see if you notice a difference. Is it easier when you exhale or easier when you inhale? And then leave it alone. Just bring your arms down and your legs, lengthen your legs and rest for a moment. And notice if even after doing just a little movement like that, is there anything that you notice changing in your breathing or in the parts of you that are touching? Is anything touching a little differently? And now bend your knees, stand your feet, Your feet should be standing about hip width apart. Cross your right leg over your left. You're crossing your legs. And if you're having trouble, you can they don't have to be crossed at the knees. You can cross so that like your lower leg is resting on your knee. Just find a place that's comfortable for you. If it's comfortable to cross all the way across, go ahead and do that. And now gently begin tilting your knees a little to the right and bring them back to center. And start out with just doing a small move, not trying to go to your maximum. Because each time we do a little bit of a move and then come back, pause, it gives your brain some information, and then do it again. And again, notice, do you inhale or do you exhale when you tilt your knees? Just let the weight of your legs tilt them. Do you feel how your pelvis begins to roll? And as you continue doing it, do you feel your pelvis rolling? Do you feel the change in contact of your sacrum on the floor? Maybe you even feel your spine beginning to turn. So don't try to force anything. Just let the weight of your knees, the weight of your legs, do the tilting. Beautiful. If you feel the movement along your spine, how far along your spine, how far up your spine do you feel the movement? And go ahead and let your knees tilt more and more as long as it's comfortable. And be sure your left shoulder stays on the floor. You saw that. The left shoulder stays on the floor. So we're not forcing, but we're looking to find that rotation at our center. The rotation of your skeleton, the rotation of your sacrum, of your spine. Do you feel your ribs starting to participate? Now, as your knees tilt, begin turning your head and eyes. Synchronize your head, your knees, and your eyes. So your eyes begin looking on the ceiling and then down the wall. Intentionally exhale as you tilt the knees. Now continue tilting the knees as your head and your eyes follow, but this time do it with your left eye closed and your right eye open. And then just pause for a moment, uncross your legs, lengthen them. And again, notice, is there anything you feel that's different? This is the time, not that you're working so hard and you really have to rest and recuperate. It's more about giving your brain a chance to catch up with the information that you've given in doing these kinds of movements. Anything changing in your breathing? And then go ahead and bend your knees again. Cross your legs in the same way. Right to the left. And continue tilting to the right. And now this time, switch your eyes so that your right eye is closed and you're looking only through your left eye. And notice what impact does that has with doing the tilting and the turning of your head. And then go back to doing it with both eyes open. So now both eyes are open. You're letting your eyes lead the movement. You're exhaling as you turn. And notice what's different than when you first started tilting your knees. And then let it go, lengthen your legs and rest. And again, notice. As we continue with the lesson, you may find that you need to change the support under your head. You may need to lower it some. Bend your knees again, stand your feet, spread hip width apart. And now, this time, cross your left leg over your right. And begin tilting your knees to the left. So gently tilt them to the left and come back a little, again to the middle. Do it gently, go small. Let the weight of your legs do the tilting. And again, notice when your pelvis begins to turn. The weight under your pelvis shifts more onto the left side. And pause in between the turning. When you come back to neutral, pause. Take a breath, let everything relax. It's different than when you're working out. We're not doing reps, we're not doing repetitions, we're doing mindfulness is what we're doing. So when you come back to the middle, think of it more of a meditation than a workout. You come back to the middle, you breathe, fill your lungs. Notice how you're in contact with the floor. Notice when your sacrum begins to turn. the weight changes under your pelvis. Notice, are the changes happening faster on this side or not as fast? Or is it about the same? And if you ever feel like you need to stop and rest before I say so, please honor that and go ahead and do that. So now, as your sacrum begins to turn, are you feeling how your spine begins to rotate? And notice how far up your spine you feel the rotation. Again, make sure your right shoulder stays on the floor. Now begin turning your head and your eyes. Okay, everybody stop and rest. Looks like we're due for a break in there. And just breathe. And then bend your knees again, stand your feet. Again, cross your left leg over your right. Again, begin tilting your knees to the left, allowing your head to roll. Notice what you do with your eyes. Do you let your eyes lead the movement? Again, just so that you give your body in the brain the chance to feel the difference. One time do it while you inhale, and one time do it while you exhale. Let yourself just be curious about does it make a difference? If so, what kind of difference does it make? What do you notice when you hold your breath? Where does it stop the rotation? So now now let your eyes lead the movement. So your eyes lead the movement. And now this time, close your right eye and leave your left eye open. Do that a few times. See if you notice an impact of doing that. And then switch. Leave your left eye open and your right eye closed. What kind of an impact does it have when you vary the use of your eyes? And go back to having both eyes open, synchronizing the turning of your head with the tilting of your knees, letting your eyes lead the movement. Is anything more free? Is anything more comfortable? And then let it go. Just lengthen your legs and rest. Notice your contact with the floor now. Anything changing in your breathing. And then bend your knees again, stand your feet. This time cross your left leg over your right. Tilt your knees to the left carefully. And listen, as your legs tilt to the left, do you feel movement in your pelvis? In your spine? Notice, where in your chest are you stiffening? Where in your chest can you let go of tension? Now, as you tilt your knees, does your chin move closer to your chest? Just notice if it does or if it doesn't at this point in time. I'm just kind of checking the head supports and I'm wondering if and then just uncross your legs, lengthen your legs and rest. And then bend your knees again, stand your feet. Again, cross your left leg over your right leg. Now the next, begin tilting your knees again. Excuse me. You're tilting your knees to the left. Now this, begin to turn your head left at the same time and at the same rate as your knees are tilting. So be sure that your head support allows your head to turn easily. Be sure it's not too high or too low. So your head and your knees move at the same rate, the same amount. Be sure your right shoulder stays down on the floor. Now with your eyes, begin to follow along the ceiling to the corner with the wall and then down the wall. So as your knees tilt, you look and move your eyes slowly. And notice, do your eyes move smoothly or are they jumpy? Now close your left eye and look only out of your right eye as your knees tilt to the left. So your knees tilt, your head rolls, your eyes lead the movement. So you look, now switch your eyes, look only out of your right eye, close the left eye as your knees continue to tilt. Our eyes, being direct extensions of our brain, have a powerful impact on our brain and on our movement. And then open your eyes. You do both eyes as you tilt your knees. And then let it go, lengthen your legs and rest. Then bend your knees again, stand your feet. This time cross your right leg over your left. And begin to tilt your knees to the right. And stay within your range of comfort. And remember, your brain loves slow. If you're moving fast, you're missing out. So slow it way down. Whatever rate you're going right now, go even slower. So you're tilting your knees to the right. Now begin to let your head also turn to the right at the same time and the same rate as your knees. And your left shoulder stays on the floor. And then again with your eyes, begin to follow along the ceiling to the corner with the wall and then down the wall. And then as the eyes come back, let your eyes follow up the wall, back across the ceiling to begin again. And notice, are your eyes moving smoothly? Are they jumpy? And now close the left eye and look only out of the right eye. And then switch, close your right eye and look only out of the left eye. Remember to breathe. Often when we're doing something a little new or different, we tend to hold our breath. So notice, are there times where you begin to hold your breath? And feel free to stop and rest anytime you need to. Honor yourself. Then open both eyes again. With both eyes, follow along the ceiling to the wall. Let your head roll, your knees tilt. And then stop and rest. Slowly uncross your legs, lengthen your legs. And again, rest. And when we stop to rest, if you need to roll onto your side, don't hesitate to do that. The most important thing is that you're comfortable, because if you're uncomfortable, that's where your brain's attention goes. And so this is the class where you really get to pay attention to yourself and really take care of yourself. The old motto of no pain, no gain is totally the opposite in this work. If there's pain, there's no gain. Just notice if there's anything different in your contact with the floor or anything different in your breathing, or maybe even any difference in your feelings. It could be your feelings about yourself, feelings about the class. The work has an impact on all levels of our being. So paying attention to your breathing and your feelings as well as your physicality is important. Go ahead and bend your knees, stand your feet. This time cross your right leg over your left and take your left arm across your chest and get a hold of your left elbow, or your left wrist, or your left hand with your right hand. So you're not crossing your arms, you're just taking hold wherever is comfortable. Okay, let's start. You take your left arm across your chest, your left arm across your chest, and then with your right hand, get a hold of your left elbow, your left wrist, whatever is comfortable to take hold of. And in this position, just so you get a sense of the object of this, I'm just going to do a check here. You want to have hold of your left elbow with your right hand. This is a confusing one. It takes a little while. You got that, you got that, you got that, you got that. Okay, now just in this movement, before we even start moving, just begin to think of your shoulder blade. Your shoulder blade is designed in such a way that it's designed to slide on your rib cage. So think of just moving your shoulder blade kind of forward a little, or as if you were going to be moving your shoulder blade by pulling with your right hand on your elbow. Now we're not trying to remove them, we're just trying to find some motion. So we want to differentiate our shoulder blades from our rib cage. Good. You got good movement there. All right. So now we're going to combine that with tilting and rolling. I think I'll help him out in a minute. Okay, now let me find my place here. So you have a hold of your left elbow, your wrist or your hand, and you're going to begin to tilt your knees to the right, turning your head to the right, and very gently pulling on your left arm as though you're lengthening it a bit. But what you're really doing is differentiating your shoulder blade from your ribs. And now, notice when you turn like this, there's really no movement in your spine. You're kind of rolling like a log. I already did everybody else. So what you're doing here is you're thinking of your shoulder blade sliding on your rib cage. Can you kind of sense that? Yeah. So that's what you're kind of tugging on that as you roll. As you're going to cross this leg over this one, and you're going to be tilting and pulling on this arm. So let your head roll, and you're just going to let your whole self kind of roll a little bit. The object of this move is to free our shoulder blades so your head can roll, and you can lead the roll with your eyes. Let your eyes look in that direction. And you're pulling on the left elbow, gently tilting. Nice. Good work. So as you're beginning to feel the movement of your shoulder blade, can you feel movement in your rib cage? Over time, with life, with stress, with grief, with fear, our rib cages can get really locked up. And that interferes not only with our breathing, it interferes with our function. And then just let it go. And lengthen your legs and rest. And then come back, bend your knees again, stand your feet. And again, cross your, same way you had them before, right leg over left. Again, take a hold of your left elbow with your right hand. And continue rolling as you were before, and differentiating your shoulder blade by pulling with your right hand. But this time, close your right eye as you're tilting, as you're turning. Let your head roll and come back. And then the next time, open your left eye and close your right eye. And then when you come back, open both eyes, and then as you're rolling, you're pulling on your elbow, let your eyes lead the movement. So let your eyes look to the right and lead the movement of rolling to the right. Beautiful. And then come back to neutral, let it all go, lengthen your legs and rest. And then bend your knees again, stand your feet. This time cross your left leg over your right. Take your right arm across your chest and get hold of your right elbow. With your left hand, begin tilting your knees to the left and start out slowly. Let your eyes lead the movement. Tilt. So it's a gentle log roll, really. And imagine that shoulder blade being able to slide. Now you have your left leg over right. There you go. And then close your right eye as you turn. Slow down. You're not doing reps. Slow is always more effective than many reps. And then close your other eye. So, and then go back to opening both eyes. Remember, you're tugging on the tugging on the right elbow with your left hand, just gently, but you're thinking of your sliding your shoulder blade, your whole spine rotates. Are you exhaling as you roll or inhaling as you roll? And remember, imagining a move is always an option. We actually cause more of an effect if we imagine than if we struggle and do something in pain. You'll be surprised at how, if you slow down and really imagine a move and do it in slow motion, you'll be amazed at the impact that it has. That's always an option to play with in anything you're doing, even when you're doing some task at home. Maybe something as simple as washing dishes or polishing your car. Beautiful. Now leave it go. Slowly lengthen your legs, bring your arms down. And now, what do you notice? We take time to notice anything that's different. And now, before we get up, take time to imagine two different ways of rolling to your side and finding your way to your feet to stand on the floor off your mat. And imagine doing it a few times in your imagination. And then after you've imagined two different ways a few times, go ahead and pick one and use that way to find yourself rolling and coming to stand. And when you come to stand, let yourself just stand. Just let your arms hang. Come on the floor off your mat. So you have a solid surface. You want to be on the solid floor, nothing cushy under your feet. So the solid floor will give you feedback. So we do all the moves while we're laying down, not dealing with gravity, and then we slowly bring ourselves to stand. So we're back into the field of gravity, and we take time now to just stand there and feel yourself. Notice your breathing. Notice anything that feels different. Remember, your brain loves variety. Your brain loves changes. Notice the way your arms hang. Can you feel your shoulder blades on your back? Can you take a breath and just kind of imagine your shoulder blades just dropping down a little bit? Notice where your arms are now in proximity to your body. And as you breathe, where do you feel the air go now? What parts of you move when you inhale and exhale? And you get a sense of your head being perched on top of your spine. Get a sense of the whole length of your spine. And while you're on the floor now, you did a lot of rolling around, a lot of movement of your spine, your sacrum, your ribs. So now as you're standing there, just very gently and slowly turn your head a little to the left and a little to the right. Feel how your head turns, how your neck turns. And now let your eyes lead the movement. As you look to the right, let your head turn to the right. As you look to the left, let your eyes turn to the left. Your head turns to the left. Okay. And then come back to neutral. And now this time, let your eyes look to the right as you turn your head to the left. And then let your eyes look to the left as you turn your head to the right. And then go back to letting your eyes turn right and your head turn right. And your eyes turn left and your head turns left. Remember I said that our eyes are literal extensions of our brain. They are so powerful. So the next time that you go to turn and maybe it feels like your neck is a little stiff or something, come back to neutral and intentionally look with your eyes before you turn your head and notice if it makes a difference. Great work. Go ahead and walk around. So we bring the changes into the upright position and then we take it into movement. And that's what the walking around is about, to integrate it into your walking in the upright position. Okay, this is Shirley Delorier with Moving Well. I hope you've enjoyed the program. Please feel free to join us next time.